it became more and more obvious that he was getting old mentally, and his mental processes weren't as quick and as accurate as they had been. His memory was fading, and yet we would sit here in the living room, and he wanted to reminisce about his childhood. And day after day he would do that, and then he would kind of almost stop talking. He'd sit there, but he would sit in his rocking chair looking out the window, and he loved the trees. The honey locust, particularly in the fall when it would turn golden. He'd say, "Barbara, come and look at this. Look at this. It is so beautiful." And it was. He got so much pleasure out of looking out his window at the trees and the sky.
Did Dad still keep a sense of humor, even all the way till the end?
No, but he had a sense of, I can't remember any particular humor, but he is expressing his enjoyment of what his surroundings were, how he loved having his kids come to visit him, how he enjoyed the grandchildren. And
he also, and you can turn this into a statement, I saw Dad as he progressed further into his illness, that he was more expressive, actually.
Yeah.
"I love you, son."
Yeah.
Where in before he would say, "Oh, you bet," but now he would express more of his love verbally.
Yeah, one of the good things, I guess you'd call it, or one of the side effects and blessing, was his openness now to express his true feelings of how he'd say, "I love you, honey," or "I love you, son," or that had been very difficult for him to say. And now he could say it freely, and he did love his sons and his grandchildren. They're very important to him. He loved the cat. He'd say, "Honey, look at this." And as he held the cat upside down, well, not upside down, but turned over so all you could really see was the cat's belly and its head, and said, "Look at that, isn't that a cute cat?" And so there were things he still enjoyed, and then he got to where he didn't talk much at all anymore. And the day that the last time he had to go to the hospital, I was trying to help him get to bed because he was getting weaker and weaker. I don't know whether it's the muscles became weak or the brain power to tell the muscles to work. So I would, and sometimes he would sit up until 1 o'clock in the morning if I let him, and I couldn't tolerate that because I had to get some sleep. And I couldn't let him just stay there by himself. He got to where I needed to be with him because I thought he needed me to be with him. And one time he had taken a nap in the back room and had slid off the bed, and I couldn't get him up, so I called one of the neighbors who had been on ski patrol and knew about physically handling people. So I called John, and John couldn't get him up. We finally got him to where he kind of crawled on his hands and knees to the bedroom and got him up and into bed. And I felt like I really couldn't leave him alone very long. I would go to the store, and that would be about it. I didn't go to church anymore because I was uncomfortable leaving him for any length of time. The boys would come and see him, and he was always, even as lost as he was in time, he knew his boys and he loved his sons and his grandchildren. One night I had helped him from the back room to the living room into the rocking chair. And then he wanted to get up, and it was time to go to bed. And he slid out of the chair. I tried to help him, and I couldn't get him up. So I called 911, and they came and lifted him up and talked to him. And it was like there was somebody visiting him. He was just so pleasant. And, "Hi, you guys, how are you? What are you doing here today?" They got him up and took all of his vitals and said he needs to be in the hospital. So they took him to the hospital. And he was there a little over a week. And on May 21st, the doctor came and said, I'll make it brief, he needs, it's called failure to thrive. Now, we can keep him here and have hospice here, or we can arrange for hospice. He's going to come home.